This is the run through for the Offsec Proving Grounds box, Medjed. Um, it was quite tricky. A lot of rabbit holes or tar pits, whatever you want to call them. Um, and essentially, the vector was to discover the web root via a PHP info leak on one socket of the victim. Then you find that a really weak authentication or password reset through a bit of spurious guessing allowed you to get access to a portal where you could do an SQL injection to write to the web root, and then you go back round to the web root and start making requests to get code exec. That gets you a shell, and then when you're on the box, it's pretty straightforward. There's just weak permissions um, on a binary that limpies will show you, but also if you do this manually, you'll also find it. So that's it. So if I go to the right directory where the box was, and then my port scan is in here. So okay, so I am going to cut to the chase with this a bit. I'm not going to labour it. So SMB, that was you can enumerate, but there's nothing to be had from that. MySQL was the same, nothing there. 5040 gave me nothing. 7680, there was nothing. 8000, so again, this Barracuda server, it does give you something, and I would recommend you look for an exploit for that for later. FTP, again, gave you some source code, but there was nothing in there that was of any value. 33033, let's have a look at that. And we've got 44330. Yeah, let's open the browser. And what are we on? 92168, 196127. So 3303, that's the first HTTP kind of thing we're getting. So we've got this sugoid, and to me, something stands out, and it isn't probably what you think, and it isn't the right thing, and I'll come back to that in a minute. So that's 33033. Then we have 44330. Okay. Odd. 45332. Oh, yep. This. What's this? It's like a dumb quiz. I shouldn't say dumb because it's better than anything I can make. Yep. So I'm just clicking things. I'm not answering these properly. Just to. Well, what impact? Let's have a look at source code. Anything in here? No. Not at the moment. Um, Okay, so what we'll discover with a bit of fuzzing on this endpoint is hmm, is PHP info. So when we have a look, well, in fact, we'll see the web routes here. Okay, this piece of information becomes useful. I think the thing that the thing that I got out of this was like tying the two bits together of where data can be written to the system and then where it can be read and executed from. And that was something I had to spend a bit of time just reconciling in my head, like so I can see it next time. Um, so, so we've got PHP info. I'd say I think that's everything we need out of this. So let's go back to the, where is it? The that 4330 44. No, that one. A lot of ports open on this. 33033 here. So the thing that stood out to me, which was wrong, is that Christopher is the only person who doesn't have a sort of second word in his username. So I was like, oh, Christopher, that's our user. But it turns out it was actually Jaren DevOps, who, because he's a cat. So anyway, you log in. You can't do much with this. This is not the path. We go to forgot. In fact, let's just have a close look at Jaren. Only the paranoid survive. Jaren.devops@company.com. Right. So go to login. I've got my password. Say Jaren.devops. I can set a new password here if I can have my password reminder, which is paranoid. So I think again it goes down to like building a context list and like reading more carefully. For me, that was the takeaway I got. So set the password to, I think it's, I'll just set it to password 123, update. Now we can log in as Jaren DevOps. There we go. So all we've got is to edit, and you've got these. Again, you can play around with them, but I'll move forward with the vector. Straight away we have this like MySQL2 error, and if we just put a single quote in, we get an error, and we can see here that it's just a string concatenation command. So if we put a comma, then we will just be adding, like on the username I should add, and then a command. We can just straight inject commands here. So again, I will let you pause here and do as you like to figure this out. You can, see the parameter in a web request and maybe fuzz it. However, this will basically write to the web route that we got from the PHP server, a PHP web shell. So if we hit request, now what we can start doing You can see here, like, that's all gone in. We could actually go to web.php and cmd equals who am I? What's going on there? This is exactly what was wrong, because we're on the wrong port, because we want to go back to where we got the PHP info from. So if you can remember the port, 45332. There we go. So now we can also do this from the terminal as well. I think that will, yep. But if we want to send anything with like a space in it, like set util to pull down a shell or anything, then we have to start encoding with curl, or we just do it through the browser. So if I see what I've got going on, okay. So just split this and then start serving up from my tools directory, and then I'm just going to do this from here. So we're going to curl g -g is just for get. Then we want to encode the URL data, and the parameter we're going to give cmd is that to get down MSF Venom shell that will listen back on 443. It's called S43, and that's going to our web.php file. So if I hit that, deleted the P, hit that, there we go and get that. And now all we have to do is run it. So if we start a listener and then go back here, and we just want to run S43. And we should get a listener back. Yep. Cool. So now we got a shell. So just to recap, we can run the command execution from the web root on 45332, which is where we found the PHP info file, but we have to inject that code from the vulnerability in the 330 in here. Once we've, I don't know, had a flash of brilliance, I guess that's what it boils down to, and we've logged in as Jaren or reset his password, then we can edit the file. We have a look here down at this experimental bit of new functionality, and then we just start bashing away at that to get through. So that's the vector. So now we're on the box. We would do things like run wimpies, or start enumerating who am I, system info, all of that stuff. But I'm gonna just cut to the chase again. Oh, okay. So there's a few files in here. Maybe you've got a checklist and you'll go through things and figure out, or if you got a keen eye on wimpies, BD, that's the Barracuda drive directory, and if you look up online when you did your enumeration, you may have come across this, which is what I started to look for first. I wonder if, say this 6.5 is the version, and there's basically like modify. So this is the exploit. So all we have to do is replace the binary in here with so the bd.exe, if we replace that, it's with, you can check it out with so authenticated users can modify that binary. I think, go back one. That's the directory. So we can write into this. And so I'll just keep going. So what I've got in here, which I made earlier on the box, is BD2, which is just a MSF Windows 64 reverse TCP payload that I'd use, you know, like similar to S443, but this one listens on port 8000. So if I open another shell, start listening with Penelope on 8000, then just go back to here, this will do, junk that, and call BD2 oops. Okay, so that will be in our yeah, htdocs. So go. So we just want to move that bd2.exe into bd. Okay, and we go back to bd. Go back to bd. There we go. And then we've got bd2.exe and bd. So then if we just move bd, just out of good practice, to bd underscore back.exe, that's allowed. And then we move bd2 exe to bd.exe. This is Windows. Yep. And now we would want to like try and stop it. It's just called BD, but access is denied, so we have to do it the brutal way, and do a full shutdown. Yeah, like that. R and 0. So shut /r/t0, and then when this boots back up, it will come back to 8000. There you go. That's the box. Happy hacking.